Do you know what?
Yes.
You're absolutely gonna hate me for this.
Oh no.
But you will when you see what I'm gonna do, you'll be like, oh my god, has that actually happened? So
Okay.
so we are now live.
Okay.
And we weren't
That's
until
okay.
just now.
Oh, trust the process, Graham. Trust the process. The good thing was that really you asked me a question and I went right round a big circle to answer it. So we're here now, and let's say, we'll not to talk about.
Well, no, listen. Welcome to the virtual high G's. When we're offline, this is I like to refer to it as West Lothian or Scotland's or maybe even the UK's most exclusive nightclub by invitation only. Can only really get about 3 people in here.
I love this. What's on your t-shirt? I know you're interviewing me tonight, but I'm just wondering what's on your t-shirt.
So thank you for asking, Gemma. What's on my t-shirt is it says Eddie Cuba All Stars. Now, Eddie Cuba is the most recent publication of Mr. Pinkster, aka me. It's an audiobook that people can get on my website at mrpinkster.co.uk. Shameless plug.
Well, it was just because when we were speaking earlier and you were wearing red and I was wanting to wear red, and I'm thinking, right, I wonder what he's going to wear. So anyway, thank you for promoting yourself. I'm feeling very happy tonight that I'm wearing red and we've not got like a clash in the screens.
It's wonderful. Wonderful to have you.
Thank you.
We're here to talk about tunes predominantly. 4 or 5. If anyone's watching and this is the first that you've seen, I ask guests to choose 4 or 5 songs. 4 or 5 songs that have played a part in their life or reminds them of a certain part in their life where, you know, maybe something changed or, you know, important period even. So Gemma has I got a real interesting selection. I'm waiting until you get into number 5, honestly. So we talk the tunes, we talk a little bit about maybe what was going on at that time, and then we just see where we go. It's the GFDI show. I'm so glad to be back. Thank you for being here, Gemma. So I'm going to let you kick off and tell everyone what the first song, or shall I tell you? We had the very first one was Baz Luhrmann's Sunscreen.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about, I mean, what's important about that? What is it that I'm guessing something in the lyrics, maybe, but.
Okay, I should have been prepared for this, but I didn't know what you were going to ask me exactly. Right, so basically, my mum is called Sandra Collins, and she was so into music, and she had us really connected to music from a very, very early age. Now, my mother is in spirit now, but what she said about the lyrics, especially in Sunscreen, is please just don't forget yourself. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind, but in the end, the race is with yourself. But also, there's so many messages in that song, because you always feel like, for example, I might always feel fat or feel old or feel whatever in photographs. And then you look back and think, what was I worried about? I look absolutely phenomenal. There's also just there's one quote in this song, and it's to do with kind of brothers and sisters and looking after each other. Mm-hmm. And basically, if you go back to before Google, before internet, before we were getting influenced so heavily on the internet, my mum just pointed this song out to me and my brother. And he, I think, or his wife, has got the lyrics actually tattooed on them. So just give us a wee minute. So it's Sunscreen lyrics. Now, there's a really good one. Yeah, so it's basically taking care of your knees, taking care of your body. Don't worry about the future. Enjoy your youth. Be kind to others. And Yeah, I think that the main part of that song was very early teachings from my own mother, just to make sure that, you know, sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind, but in the end, the race is with yourself. And that's definitely a message that I give myself, and I have to remind myself of, Graham. And yeah, so that's that song sometimes. In fact, you know what? When you asked me to give my favourite song, I had no hesitation to think about that one, which made a massive impact on my life at such a young age. And it was a message, yeah, a really clear message. And I think we should all maybe listen to that song at one point.
I love it. I love it. When it was released, I was I think I was in my late 20s when it was released. Was it like 1999? The class of 99? I
Yes.
can't remember. Around then. So taking yourself back, way back to those tender years of Gemma Collins, the early years. You said you weren't sure what I was going to ask you, but you know the three golden rules, don't you? No judgment.
No judgment.
Be prepared for anything.
Well, Wim Hof teaches us that.
So going back to your childhood,
yes.
Let's get a little bit of flavour of Gemma.
Okay.
What was like a childhood dream? Go back, I mean, and or if there's a couple you can think of, you know, when you were younger, like really young, maybe.
I just wanted to feel loved. I used to just want to feel loved, and I used to I didn't fit in, Graham, right? And I knew I was a wee bit different from everybody else as well. But I didn't really have dreams as such, because I was very well looked after. My mum was actually a single parent, so I spent a lot of time with my gran and my papa, and I feel eternally blessed, because I was like, my papa's like, I was probably attached to him. And I felt really, really, really lucky, because I had 4 uncles. I had my papa, I had my gran. I came from a village. I didn't really have too many dreams as such. But in my very, very, very early days, music was heavily introduced. It was always on the background. I was always going to musicals, concerts, shows. But one of my dreams and goals, probably I nearly had it, was my first ever profession was a travel agent, and I worked for Going Places and Air Tours. And you know how you get, like, in those days there was no internet or Google, and you had to really know your countries, and you had to really know everything. And I won a holiday to, well, I won a few, but one of the main ones was I won a holiday to Brazil, where I had to go around the full of Brazil and write reports for brochures.
All right, okay.
And I used to think that I was wanting to be like on a TV show to introduce the different companies and the countries and what there was to do, and if it was suitable for disabled, who it was for. So, for example, I would be saying, you know, in Brazil, I've been to Salvador, Sao Paulo, the Iguazu Falls. I've been like all internal flights, and I didn't really particularly enjoy Rio de Janeiro, but I really liked Salvador. So okay. I would have a goal or a dream that I would be the presenter. I think there was a lady who actually done this job years ago. And because I'm not prepared for the questions, Graham, I can't remember what her name was. But she basically was like, wish you were here. There was a programme called Wish You Were Here.
This is Plumbers.
That's it, right. And that's the job that I wanted to do.
It.
Now, I would probably say that in my life, that's when I was happy, right? It's when I was a travel agent. I felt connected to a team. I felt connected to the world. I felt connected, and I felt on the right path. And then an internet came.
Oh.
And I'll just stop it there, because I could talk forever. But I did have a taste of my goals and dreams to do with the travel, to do with the movement, to do with the countries and things like that. So
yeah. What was from that time in your life? Have you got one? Is there like one standout memory?
Yes. So the holiday that I went to Brazil, that was like one of my best achievements. In fact, do you know how long ago it was? Do you remember there was foot and mouth disease?
Oh, crikey.
I had to put all my shoes through disinfectant because there was foot and mouth disease. and I struggled to get my yellow fever vaccination in time. And, you know, that was probably one of my greatest achievements, because the person that got to go to Brazil, actually you had to sell the Brazil holidays. And when I was sitting in Glasgow selling the airport from London, I was having to get my Glasgow people to go to London and then fly from London to Brazil. And I would like to actually I'm going to just ask, when was foot and mouth disease? Because it was it was a long time ago. So yeah, that was the happiest I've ever been. I've actually never, this is very sad, but I've never actually felt this happiness since. Oh my goodness, 2001.
2001,
2001.
24 years ago.
Golly. That's actually quite sad when you think about it, Graham. Oh, I would say So as a child, a happy time. I much preferred being a child than an adult. That is definitely for sure.
Oh, me too. Me too.
I came from a village and we would just go and play in the woods, play in the castle, out in nature, no phones. You had to come in when the street lights went on. If you went missing, it was fine because your gran was round the corner, your auntie and uncle was behind you. You know, you couldn't go far, you couldn't go anywhere, and you couldn't do anything wrong because your mum would definitely find out.
That was the thing, wasn't it?
That was that.
That was it. You could go, you could go a couple of miles, well, certainly within, radius, because somebody told someone's mum who told someone's who was on the phone to this, that, and before you knew it, you had a clip around the back of the ear. Yeah, I know it well. I remember those times, but they were good times.
But do you know what's funny, Graham? People go, so let's talk just slightly about Wim Hof at the moment, but people go dipping at a place called Booker's Pond. In my head, my papa is still saying to me, that's sinking sand. You can't go. And they obviously told us as children that this was sinking sand so that we didn't go to the pond for safety. But now I can't even really go in it because I'm like, oh no, that's actually sinking sand.
And is it, or is it just?
No, it's just what my papa told me, but I do struggle to go in there. So if anybody says, Gemma, do you want to go to Booker's Pond? And I'm like, oh. And even like I'm 48 right now and I'm still thinking, my papa wouldn't be pleased with this. So
but you go anyway.
I've got not really, not really, Graham. I'm like that, right? Okay, I go maybe paddleboard in there, but I'm like, right, okay, it's sinking sand. So anyway, Booker's Pond is not sinking sand, but as a child, I was told that by my papa, and the reason for that was to stop me going down there into the water for safety.
Yeah.
We also had a reservoir as well. Oh, so we weren't allowed up there either. But I come from a village called Dundonald, and I would probably say that living in Dundonald and being in Dundonald was the happiest times of my life. So much so that I had my birthday party in Dundonald Castle just last year.
I remember.
Absolutely, it was amazing. Yeah, I had my 50th birthday, but really I was only 47. But I had my 50th party there. I know.
So tell me, on the sliding scale, you see what I do. I try and do this as well.
Okay.
But tell me, along the timeline, whereabouts do we get to Celine Dion? Because that's the next song that I'm gonna throw in there. Celine Dion and I'm Alive is
okay. It wasn't that song. It wasn't that song to start with, right? So my mum. No. So my mum was fancy and she had loads of CDs, and actually she got me to number them all, I think for insurance purposes, because CDs were very rare at the time. And Celine Dion actually had a French album actually. And I know the French album. Let's see what it's called. I can't believe you've not prepared me for these songs. Right, I think it's something to do with, here we go, 1995. Right. Yeah. 1995, Celine Dion had an album called Deux, or Deux, I think Deux, and my mum listened to it all the time, and I learned the
Do? Like 2?
Yeah. So it was her best, right? So it was her best-selling French album of all time, right? Now I learned that album from start to finish, right? And it was in fully French. But then when she brought out "I'm Alive," I thought, no, Celine, that's the song. But actually, prior to that, I liked her full French album, and it was because my mum used to play it a lot, and then I really just get into it. So on the timeline.
Yes.
Or two, or whatever it's called. I learned that full. So if you were to put on that French album right now, I would know every single song from start to finish.
Yeah.
And when she brought out the "I'm Alive," I just find it my ultimate favorite song ever, and it has been since me basically probably about 2000 as well. In fact, now I'm wanting to check, when did she bring out "I'm Alive"? Sorry, Graham.
It's all right. It's all good.
I like how you don't prepare me for this. This is good.
The JFDI show.
Just
kind of,
right. She brought out
sort of in the name.
So see, in 2002, she brought out an album called "A New Day Has Begun," and my mum would have definitely have bought that. And yeah, it was on that one. It was a natural progression from the French album to "I'm Alive," but I do have a very sad part of that. If it's okay, is it okay for me to share the sad part of this song?
Of course, yeah, absolutely. As long as you're comfortable.
Okay, so on my 40th birthday, I like to celebrate myself, you see. And I had a remarkable band play for me called Angel Star.
Nice, nice name.
Like phenomenal band, right?
What sort of music?
Everything.
All right, a little bit of a mix.
Like they were singing like a superstar and all these, right? All my favourite songs. And what happened was I found out that my best friend had terminal cancer. And it's horrible. Stage 4. She was going to lose her life. Now, I was standing with her, and she had cancer and I was alive, right? And the band turned around to me and says, "Gemma, what's your favourite song? And we'll kick off with it." And without even thinking, I said, "Celine Dion, I'm Alive." But then I looked to my friend and I'm thinking, I can't believe I've just picked that song. Like, how horrible. So she just burst out laughing, right? And then I was like, right, okay. And I wish I had picked like ABBA, like Super Trooper or something, right? Well, I was like, who does that? Who actually does it? Anyway, she danced with me. We had the first song. I said, "I'm really so sorry." And then she says, "Gemma, your eyelashes are stuck in your hair." And I just went, right, okay. So, but anyway, it is my favourite song, but I would say it's not always appropriate. But the sad thing, I was thinking, I'm alive, and I'm singing, yeah, I'm alive. And then she's sitting thinking, I'm not really very well. And I'm thinking, oh my God. So every time I think about when somebody asks me what's my favourite song, I think, right, is everybody healthy? Because if they are, let's go where I'm alive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's definitely, Celine Dion is so therapeutic. I just love her. So, yeah. Yeah, and I'm alive.
I thought when I saw "I'm Alive" that I went to like a Stretch and Vern dance song, and then I saw Celine Dion. I was like, oh, that's a different genre entirely.
Yes. Oh my goodness! What did you think about?
Bit of Celine Dion. Oh, probably like a Stretch and Vern. They did a dance, almost like a house song. "I'm Alive" it was called, like a real dance. I'll send you a link to it. It's certainly not Celine Dion, though.
Well, do you know what? It's just a good song, and I use it for horse stance now.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I do. And I've got usually "I'm Alive" will be in one of my playlists somewhere. I just think it's an all-round good song. It's uplifting, it's motivational, and I'm a Celine Dion fan.
Ah, nice. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, you mentioned the horse stance there.
Love it.
We've been talking for 20 minutes. There's going to be people that are watching this that know us both because we're in the Wim Hof method tribe. So I think
Yes.
it's probably a very good time for me to ask you that question that a lot of people will want to know, because and it's great to be able to do this. So Gemma Collins, how how did you find your way into the Wim Hof method tribe? Tell me how you came about it, and how, you know, the journey to becoming an instructor from when it first became a seed or to now.
Okay. This is I'm going to try to condense this question. And you know what, Graham?
Crazy. Go mad.
It's like,
Give us it all.
no, Graham, I'll tell you what, I'm ever so grateful for the Wim Hof method, because I found my tribe and I found like people that I could actually totally connect with. And anyway, back to what happened. I am a fully qualified spiritual healer. Now, I had to study all disciplines, if you like, of healing methods. I've travelled the world. I've been to India 19 times. I've prayed to every God, Jesus, the Holy Ghost and the Holy Spirit. My first love was actually Sikh, and then I was going to marry a Hindu. Meanwhile, my mum married a Muslim, and I've always been very, very, very cultured, right? And in 2019, I lost my mother on New Year's Day. And then 12 weeks later, I lost my best friend. Oh. And I'm thinking, you know, God, this isn't very funny. You know, the two most important people in my whole life I've lost within 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And nobody was doing cold water therapy then. And this one day, I climbed the cobbler with one of my other friend's sons, and I couldn't get a grip of myself. I couldn't get a grip of my mental health, my physical health, my emotional health. And I knew textbook, all these methods. And I decided after I climbed the cobbler, I thought, I'm going to do the water. Now, I didn't know about the breath work at all, really, at that point, but I knew about the cold water.
So this is 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
I walked up to, it was the Lynn Glen Falls in Dorai.
Yeah.
And when I was walking up there, I met a man from the army. And he said to me, we do this in the army for endurance. Now, back then, there was no goddesses kicking about, dipping in waterfalls, right? And my mental health was, honestly, I could barely breathe for everything. See, every single problem you could have, I had every single one of them, right? Apart from my physical health was okay. And I just went up and I get in the water, and my friend's son filmed me, and he actually put it in a Snapchat. He thought it was crazy, right? But he was still there to take the pictures. And then from there, I actually looked this out, because this is probably a time when I really thought I couldn't get any happier. So hold on. So I've done the water dipping, and I started looking online to see if there was anybody else doing water or cold water therapy. And I found one guy in Cambuslang, and he put me in touch with 3 guys in Ayrshire. But anyway, it was all about the water at first. Yeah. So it was nothing to do with the breath work, nothing to do with the Wim Hof method. It was just getting into freezing cold water and having a really good time. But what I wanted to talk about was I'm actually so emotional thinking about it. But we ended up creating a tribe. This is Lewis, and this is Ben, Willie, and the list goes on. But this is a calendar I actually made. I remember thinking, I'm never going to feel this happy again, right? And I found all these people, but they were all guys. Have you noticed? Right.
Yeah.
So this was like from 2020, 2021. And then we've got ladies are coming into the equation. There's Mary Ellen. And then, you know, so you'll see here we've got Tori. She became a Wim Hof instructor as well. So there's Victoria Cummings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's Victoria Cummings, and then there's like Anne Duffy. So we were all connecting like 2021. This was a calendar I made in 21 for 22. So anyway, I'm not going to go on too much about this. Oh, this is a cracking picture of Jai.
Oh, that is a good photo, yeah.
Right. So what happened was I found a tribe and I found my people, Graham. And we were all going out and we were having such a great time and we were doing like retreats and things like that. But see, when I get interested in something, I'm fully in. Fully in. So I knew about how good the cold water was making me feel. I didn't have a clue about breath work. And then I was on a retreat and somebody started doing the breath work. And then they had been to a Wim Hof. They had been to a Wim Hof retreat themselves up in the Highlands of Scotland. And there wasn't really many instructors back then. But then I would say I also got a Christmas present of a Wim Hof book, but I hadn't read it, right? And I just started reading the book and starting to watch the YouTubes. And I just thought, oh my God, this is amazing. Now, I didn't want to become an instructor because like I felt like just going and paying for a qualification. In fact, when I had my big fancy job, a lot of people put me off getting the qualification. And then when I lost my big fancy job in 2023, I thought, right, I feel terrible. Now, I don't even want to say the words of how I felt, but I thought, right, I know there's something that can get a grip of me. And I need to learn this and I need to train and then I need to share this with other people. Because if I feel like this, and I mean, always people say, oh, Gemma, you wouldn't expect you to feel like that. I'm thinking exactly. So if you look at all the people you expect to feel like that, I would say, do you know what? On the scale of that, I feel terrible. So I decided I had money for a mortgage, Graham. And instead of getting a house or a mortgage, I thought, do you know what? A house and a mortgage isn't any use to me when my mental health's like this. So I used all my savings and I signed up and I started. It was actually Victoria Cummings who's like that, come on, just get a move on. She had already passed level 1. We were already going out and doing everything. So I done the 10 weeks fundamentals and that was amazing. And then I went on to get all the coursework. Then I got all really fascinated. And then not only that, I decided to go and qualify. But honestly, it's the only time I feel okay.
What, when you're practicing, when you're either in the cold or you're doing the breath work?
So whether it's
or you're amongst the tribe.
So I don't want to divert because I can be quite bad for that. So what happens is, how did I get introduced to the Wim Hof method? For me, there was just no other option. But I started with the cold, and then I found out about the breath, and then I put it all together, right? Yeah. But what I would say is that I want to divert to my practice, right? I went to Dubai and Sri Lanka last Christmas and New Year. And I genuinely had to fly home 9 days early because I couldn't get a grip on my mental health. I was tapping. I couldn't even do my breath work, right? So whereas the cold sorts me out straight away, right? And even just now, if I don't practice my cold water therapy, I can feel the difference if I've not practiced it for, say, 10 days. So I live and I breathe this method. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't do the breath work as much as I should, Graham, right? But the cold water really sorts me out in 2 seconds. Yeah. So I live and I breathe the method. It helps me cope with every single condition, right? Everybody's got depression, anxiety. Everybody's got it now. It's so fashionable. But, you know, I have actually struggled my whole life, and I used to really laser beam focus into my work, or I would laser beam focus into whatever it may be. But for the Wim Hof method, if it wasn't for the Wim Hof method, I wouldn't like to imagine where or what could have happened, because ultimately the tribe, the connection, the teaching, the learning, the development, it's taken me on further to learn about the biology of the body, and, you know, so much learning, and it's just changed my life, Graham. And I'm connected to you. And, you know, we whether it be Victoria, yourself, Mark, you know, Darren, we've got a tribe and we've got a worldwide network that's there to support us. And we all kind of feel the same with kind of the same but different stories.
Yeah, exactly.
So I couldn't cope, Graham. I just couldn't cope. And I still have problems coping.
What's the single most best thing about the Wim Hof method for you?
The peace in my brain.
Oh, that's beautiful. The peace in your brain.
It's the only time I can feel fully present, and it's the only time my brain just stops.
We don't get enough, do we? But people, you know, don't have time. Nobody has time. But we've all got the same 24 hours.
Do you know what's funny though? See all these tribes, so let's just say, for example, right, this is all forming good connections and good habits and good relationships. But do you know what? I took myself away from all that. I actually had to remove myself from group chats, and people are like, what's wrong with Gemma? But they didn't realise that all became too much for me because it took it away from why I needed it in the first place. And I needed it in the first place to shut that brain up. Wim Hof calls it the monkey mind, the dark cloud, whatever you want to call it. For me, I ended up, you know, yes, we've got all these communities and connections and nighttime dipping, and, you know, it was amazing, right? But for me, I ended up losing the reason that I got into it in the first place, and that was because of the actual state of my mental health. And a lot of people want to do a photo shoot. A lot of people want to come out with me. A lot of people don't realise, you know, that when I'm out, it's a serious medicine for me.
Yeah, medicine.
It's my medicine.
Yes, indeed. Medicine.
I feel quite sad, Graham. I feel quite sad talking about that because some people are like, you know, sometimes I don't get back to people because I don't want to go out with certain people. And, you know, sometimes recently I just actually really hurt my leg in a waterfall. I was so careful going down, and then I was so careful going down, Graham. Then I went into the water. Then I thought I could fly because obviously we feel like ecstatic, right? And I started running up this hill and I slid fully back. And I ended up thinking that I had broke my hip, and I was praying and I'm saying, oh God, I know I've got mental health issues, but don't give me physical health issues. And I've been breathing into my hip, and you know, that's actually something that happened maybe only 4 or 5 weeks ago. So I've used it for healing of my physical self, but ultimately the reason that I get into the method was for the mental part of myself.
Yeah.
And
be honest. So here's a question for you. Genuine curiosity.
Yes.
So during the time that when you injured your leg, right? I spoke to you at the time, so I know how much pain you were in. I spoke to you when you were in A&E, I think. Did I? Was it?
I waited a week before I thought my hip's broken.
Yes, I think I remember speaking to you when you were in A&E, but it was about 3 or 4 days after you'd done it. So
I didn't. I
don't know what to say. The question I was going to ask you was: so did you take any pain relief or any sort of prescription pain relief to help with the injury?
Graham, we are Wim Hof instructors. It's against our religion.
Okay, I'm just asking because you didn't. You used cold water exposure and you breathed through it, and you healed yourself.
Why I went to accident emergency 1 week later is I had been training with the ambulance service, and when I fell, I was instantly sick. And generally, I'm not medically trained as such, but generally, if you're physically sick, that can indicate a break.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you fall and then you just sick. That's what happened first to me, right? But I fell in an uphill. I also thought, do you know what, Gemma, you're a bit heavy, because see, trying to get myself up, I'm maybe about 94 kilograms at the moment, Graham, and I felt a good 10 to be coming off me because I couldn't get up and I couldn't get round and I couldn't breathe and I was in so much pain. So I had to then just go back to the cold water. Then I had to go back to the breath work. And I thought, do you know what? I am not taking a painkiller. But then I ended up thinking, I've actually froze myself for a week. I think my hip's broken. And that's why the doctor did see me and did x-ray me straight away, because he's like, how have you managed the last week? And I said, well, I've been sitting in ice. And then I was like, I'm actually a Wim Hof instructor and I don't believe I've been breathing. And he's just looking at me. He says, get on a trolley. You're going to queue for an x-ray. But what he said to me was, generally, you wouldn't be able to weight bear, but adrenaline can have you weight bearing at first. But he says you couldn't have weight bared. I don't know if that's correct English, but he basically says you couldn't have put weight on that for a week. And I was like, no, but I'm sitting in a cold bath every 4 hours, like freezing. Or I'm sitting in ice. Or, like, you know, so I did freeze myself for a week. So I would say that the breath work and then freezing myself, when I went for an x-ray, I was given cocodamol and I was given anti-inflammatories. And Graham,
that's all right.
I did take the anti-inflammatories for 2 days.
Of course. Why not?
Because we're Wim Hof instructors.
I'm still human.
I know. So yeah, so and then today actually I fell downstairs again and I'm like, right, what's the matter? It's the leaves. The leaves is really worse than ice. So anyway,
slow down. This is what we encourage others to do. Slow down.
Into the brain. So Wim Hof says, let's get into the deepest part of our brain.
Let's get into the deepest part of our brain and discuss your next song choice, which is the mega mix containing everything from Joseph's mega magical, multicolored, magical dream coat, right?
That's just the best ever. Right. Bliss. Now, I told you, I spoke about how good my childhood was and I spoke about how amazing my mum was. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat was one of the first theatre shows she sent me to.
Right.
Now, do you remember Neighbours?
I do.
So, we had Kylie Minogue. I must have been in primary 5. So she sent me to see Kylie Minogue at the Edinburgh Playhouse. And then she sent me to see Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Now, I think that this is a problem I've got in adult life because my mum had me so entertained as a young girl, right? And basically, that was the Father Joseph was just fantastic for history, for learning, for understanding, for the visuals, for the vibration. And it was quite funny because my brother would listen to like Beat Street, as in he was into all the scratching and like windmills on lino and all that. And then I'm like, Joseph, they know what to say. And my mum would be like in the living room like that. Oh my God, give me strength. Like, what's going on with my children? Right. So basically, it just reminds me of so many happy memories. It was the start of my theatre interest. And I just feel that I'm not going to diagnose myself. But it was the start of my understanding, not through school. So my understanding of the full story in a musical. And then it's interesting because, like, for example, 6, Hamilton, if I was to read the history, I wouldn't understand it. But if I go to the musical, I've got the history and I've got what happened. And that goes for everything. The Phantom of the Opera, Cats, Miss Saigon, Chicago, the list goes on. But I'm a very serious theatre goer and I certainly do go to the theatre probably, definitely about 6 times minimum a year.
6 times a year?
Minimum.
What was the last thing
I've actually got a theatre friend.
You've got a theatre friend?
Yes.
That's it.
I've got a theatre friend. Oh, it's a girlfriend, Graham. It's not like a boyfriend, right? But anyway, I've got a theatre friend.
Yeah, each to their own. I was just going to ask if you did pre's and then posts.
So what we do, she's a primary school teacher, and so like next year we've got like we book our like people are like, can we come to the theatre with you? And we're like, what are you talking about? We've booked our ticket like 4 years in advance. We like so next year I know we've got like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, we've got the Karate Kid, we like burlesque, and I think we've got burlesque, but I'm not sure. So she books one, then I book the other. The last show we just went to see was 2222. It was a ghost story, very quiet. But yes,
222.
Yes.
No way.
It was
2222.
Oh,
I might need to investigate.
It was a ghost story though. It was a bit quiet for me.
Oh, okay. What was the last one? What was the last one you saw?
The last show that I went actually to see it in Glasgow. Then I went to Manchester because it was that good. It was burlesque. Was the last? Oh, that's a lie. Moulin Rouge.
Oh, okay.
So Moulin Rouge was the last show, but the second last show was burlesque. I went to see it in Glasgow. Then I went to see it in Manchester. So that was in September.
And what is your favourite ever?
Joseph, they know what to say.
Without any shadow of a doubt, just far and away.
Right, the last.
I guess when you tie in and you get to see Kylie, you go to see Joseph.
Oh, hold on, I never answered that. Jason Donovan was in Joseph.
I was going to say, was it Jason Donovan that was your Joseph?
Yes, that was the Joseph,
right.
And it was funny because when I went to see Kylie Minogue, that was my point. See, thanks for reeling me back. When I went to see Kylie Minogue at Edinburgh Playhouse, I also seen Joseph at the same kind of time, and I was becoming very curious then. So let's say primary 5, age 10, a fantastic age to start influencing, and I wish that I had actually went into maybe not to do with acting, but maybe singing. I wish I had went into that. That's another story, Graham. That is another story about why I couldn't sing.
Why couldn't you sing?
Do you want to really hear this?
Of course.
Right. There's a man called, in fact, I'm not mentioning his name. Right. I went to choir practice and we were doing Come What May, actually. But see, when he was teaching the sopranos, the altos were talking. And then when he was teaching the altos, when I was listening, the sopranos were talking. And I said, I can't deal with that.
Too much.
That was when it, no, I take it very serious. And I think that when the teacher's talking, you should be listening.
I was going to say, was it an auditory thing in the sense that it was all of the noise that was too much, or it was bad manners, or both?
Both. It was really irritating me that I thought.
One voice in the room.
I just thought the teacher's talking. What are you doing? I went and I spoke to the teacher and I said, listen, I'm not really coping very well. And he says, Gemma, these people pay a lot of money to be here. And he says, come to Glasgow. So I had went to his Ayrshire classes and then I went to Glasgow. It was just as bad. So it's not an option for me.
You see, don't you think, though, I like to look at life in the sense that maybe, there are people who would have continued to sing at that point and kind of gone, do you know what I mean? And gone, you've actually gone, moved on. So
it wasn't as easy.
It wasn't meant to be, right?
It wasn't as easy as that. It was actually making me feel very, very ill, right? So like I couldn't even
worse, right? Even more reason to move on.
I couldn't even put a face on it. I couldn't even put a crown on it. I couldn't even work through all my coping mechanisms. I genuinely was I was ending up like giving dirty looks and all that. I was like they're so rude. It was quite extreme, Graham.
Time to move on.
I know, but the thing is, right, so back to my favourite show ever. The last show that I seen with my own mother before she passed away was Miss Saigon.
Right.
I would say that's my ultimate favourite. probably because it was the last show that I seen with my mum.
Right, okay.
Joseph is always very special to me because it raises my vibration. I might put it on tomorrow, but it raises my vibration and it sorts my crown out.
Hey!
See if somebody's upset my crown.
It's the goddess.
I put the crown on and I listen to Joseph, and it's just amazing. It's just coping, and it gets the vibration going. But it was also the very first and the very start of my interest into the theatre and arts.
Wonderful. Hey, do you know, it's fascinating how we kind of like find our way to things, isn't it? And that's sort of like the reasons why we continue to do things, and why we kind of, weave and then decide to leave things behind.
I feel genuinely we're not listening to enough music, Graham.
This is why I do this podcast, because there's lots of podcasts about everything. And I think I'm not dissing anybody. Everybody do them. I'm doing me, right? But this is why I include it in this. Of course, we talk about life. Of course, we talk about challenges. Of course, we want to talk about resilience. That's why I started doing it. But it's the music in our lives. For me, without music, oh my Lord, what would be the point, right? And you're right.
I think without a cold bath, what would be the point? But the thing is, a lot of the time, I mean, see, you actually really inspire me, Graham, and see your EFDI, just fucking do it, right? I'm thinking to myself, right, okay, but this year I'm deciding not to just fucking do it because I'm staying home and getting present. So I think that I know this isn't one of my songs, right? But see how you've got the lyrics in The Gambler, like, can I know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to run, do. Right, that's actually very interesting because see, I know it's not one of my songs. Let's get back on track.
Carry on.
If you ask me a question, I'm going right around the house and I'm thinking, have I answered that?
It's fine.
Oh, and do you know what is so sad? Well, it's not sad.
Tell me out of curiosity, what have I done to inspire you?
I'm going to have to go back. This isn't sad and this isn't happy, but see how I was talking about I'm Alive?
Yeah, Celine.
See my friend that passed away?
Yes.
She's been playing The Gambler in my head then, because all I've got is know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and that was her funeral song. And I'm thinking, right, I'm not meant to be talking about that tonight.
Well, maybe you are, Gemma.
Oh,
maybe you are.
I'm okay. I have to know when to hold them. I have to know when to fold them.
Know when to walk away. And know when to
walk away, know when to run. But I've got a sore leg now.
Yeah, just keep it out of walking.
I need some roller skates.
Oh, so I want to know about another area of your life that we've not really touched upon. We've made a couple of references, maybe a number of references, but as interested as I am in your Wim Hof method journey, you mentioned about earlier on that you were a qualified spiritual healer. And I know that you've had an interest in more than an interest, like, again, a very qualified tarot reader, which has been an interest of mine since I didn't bring my cards up with me.
I've got my cards. Graham, I've got my cards.
It's been an interest of mine since a friend of mine brought that deck of cards. Was a friend of mine brought them back from a holiday in Spain.
Oh my goodness! Right.
Honestly, so I'm curious as to kind of like what or where that came from, because that is probably, correct me if I'm wrong, that seems to be the tarot seems to have been the real constant through your life. It's never really left, has it? It's always played a big factor, right?
So that goes back to primary 5 as well, Graham.
Does it?
It does. So
we Gemma.
Aye, so we Gemma, right, so we Gemma used to get the bus. Now, I was very responsible, so I get the bus to Kilmarnock. I mean, I don't know if you'd be allowed to do that nowadays. And what happened was there was an indoor market across from a leisure centre. Now, I used to have good money when I was wee because I used to get great pocket money for cleaning all my uncle's vans and doing all my jobs and chores. And my mum was like, I would probably say I had a good £20 a week. And I'm not joking. And that was a lot of money. Right.
That was.
Aye. Well, I used to save it as well. So I wish I could be half as sensible.
$250 a week from a paper round.
Right. So I used to get the bus to Kilmarnock and I used to supposed to go to the leisure centre.
Yeah.
And instead I would go into the indoor market. And then I used to give the lady my money and she used to do my cards. And remember, no internet, nothing, right? And I used to just get so fascinated. I told my auntie about it. My auntie Fiona bought me my first deck of cards, I think, when I was about 13. But I was very, very curious and thinking, right, hold on. She's doing cards every week for me. She's taking my money. She's giving me all these predictions. I like the magic. I like the escapism. I like the storytelling in them. And from there sparked the curiosity, because I still want to bear in mind that we've only got reference to books at this point. Now, at 13, I just got right into them and I was playing with them and I was using them and I was feeling them and I was still going to...
Were you giving other people readings by this point?
Never. I didn't really start doing readings for other people till 2016.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Kept it to yourself?
Aye.
Why did you keep it to yourself for so long?
It was like, right, so what happened was, remember, I don't want to be diagnosed with anything, but at school I couldn't really learn anything. It was all really boring for me. But what happened was when I get into tarot, I realised in tarot that I'm going to give a short lesson here, but I realised in tarot we've got earth, we've got air, we've got fire, and we've got water. Air is connected to the brain, earth is connected to the material world, fire's to do with the creativity, and water's to do with the emotion. Now, I have struggled my whole life. Honestly, despite the amount of people that think they know me, I'm saying good for you, because I don't know myself. But anyway, then I started realising about spring, summer, autumn, winter. Then I started thinking about north, south, east and west. Then I started about enjoying the life's journey and pattern. So what happened was I started trying my hardest to get reference books, reference materials. And I done this for years and years and years and years and years. And I would just read, and it was the only thing that could capture my attention. And then I would probably say I had a mentor, and it used to be £80 every Sunday. And I used to, it doesn't matter what I was doing, I had a mentor. I would go to her for 4 hours every Sunday, and I was so trained up. And then I used to use it actually for selling, right? And then I started realising that Dior use it, Dolce & Gabbana use it, that Gucci use it, and I started realising the power of the psychological profiling that's actually in tarot. And now I can put out a message to anybody, give me any movie, any book or any theory, and I can relate it to tarot. Wow. And I don't know if I've answered the question, but basically it's been it's been a forever learning, Graham. But what happened was my mentor actually, on her deathbed, she called me and she says, I have never had a student like you. And she says, now you're going to be the next generation and you need to teach this. You need to teach this, right?
Yeah.
And actually, you haven't planned for this conversation, but I keep my mentor here. And when did she pass? She passed in 23. So I was doing my cold water therapy. So her name was Joan Charles. And then, and that was my mentor I went to for like ever.
Yeah.
And her name wasn't even John Charles. Her name was Susan Henry, and I didn't even know that. And when she called me and she says, Gemma, and she got me to take her memory sticks as well. And she said, I'm going to put the course that I've wrote on these memory sticks for you.
Okay.
Because I based a lot of my course on you. Right? In my head, I could hear my mum saying, you'll not be doing a John Charles's course, you'll be doing a Gemma Collins course, right? So actually, that this was not planned, but that is my mentor. I keep her there. And it's funny because she actually, when I would be having questions about anything, she used to think, why would you ask that? Where did you get this question, Gemma? And then it was only in 2016, actually, I started reading tarot professionally. But really, I've been studying it forever, and I still do.
It kind of like you really light up when you talk about it. And I've kind of, had the pleasure of having a little mini reading a couple of times. And it feels to me that this is my offering to you, is that you should be sharing it more. I know you try to share it, but it's like, and the interesting thing is, it's like, you talk about people finding their passions and their love and like little niche. It's like when you look at the storytelling, like you mentioned, the storytelling and almost the poetry within tarot, and combine it with breathwork, mindset, and and cold exposure to the Wim Hof method. It's you're following, you're following a path that, like you said, it keeps you happy.
So, just on that note, Graham, I have never felt okay. I've never felt okay. I've never felt loved. I've never felt a belonging. I've never felt anything. Like, I just always think to myself, like, what am I actually even doing here, right? And when I sometimes hold back from doing tarot, I enjoy doing corporate tarot, teaching sales teams about it. I really enjoyed working with the Hendrix gin. I enjoy doing it corporately to help people understand themselves and others, right? But really, it's a massive psychology, and it's not even fortune telling. And half the time, people think it's fortune telling, and it's so not. And it's so much more intellectual than that. But when people say, "Oh, it's against my religion," and I'm thinking, it's actually full of religion. In fact, there's symbology which goes back years ago that's in different Bibles, and I've studied all this. And also, if you think of, let's think of, for example, the Justice card in tarot, and you see the scales, it doesn't matter what country you're in, the imagery is the same, the justice is the same. And interestingly enough, I'm going to talk about our event for Hug Money, right? But interestingly enough, right, in tarot, 8 is for infinity, 8's for strength, and 8's absolutely solid. So it's a very, very, very interesting how all the tarots and the numerology and everything all stacks up, and it all makes sense. And then you can go back like years in history and think about the numbers, the numerology, and actually see from 2020 right to now, all the years have stacked up to what's been happening in the world. So whether it was the recuperation, or whether it was the faith, or whether it was the spiritual awakening. But it's quite interesting because this is the year of the hermit, but next year's the year of the magician. And you're like, right, okay, there's a lot of magic going to be happening next year. So it's like, I could talk for about 5 hours minimum on this. What was the question? Right, okay, so tarot has been my ultimate faith and comfort teaching tool forever.
Yeah. You can tell how much you love it. You can
Amen
tell.
on that. Amen.
Oh.
And I am amazing at it. I actually am.
Listen, some of the things that we've discussed, and again, it's one I get. My good lady wife is great in the sense that she's very interested in in having readings and stuff. There was a little cafe not too far away from us. Was it called Little Whispers or something? And they would read your leaves in there. And she got very good at like trying to be a closed book, right? She would say, I don't want to give anything away. So she would like, when people would say, you know, oh, I'm getting a feeling, and she would be like, and it would be like a man.
So that's that's the thing. So I'm quite probably business-like from a tarot, actually.
Yeah.
So my belief is that spirit should rest in peace, and I will not comfort anybody that's lost somebody. So what's the word? A girl used it, the integrity, right? I care a lot about integrity, and it's so funny. So generally what happens is I could have an author of a book stuck for the ending of a story. I could have a brand, or I could just be in a selling situation, or I could be making straight predictions. But the beauty is that actually I don't want somebody to talk to me, because then they influence me.
Yeah.
If they don't influence me, then I can only be working with my psychic powers. And I encourage people not to give me an information. And generally, how I do my readings, Graham, is I do the first reading on what do you need to know right now.
Yeah.
And then I do the second reading on what do you want to know right now, working with intention. And then I do the year ahead, and then I make them make 3 videos on their phone, and they've got 3 2-minute videos of what I've said, what I've predicted, and what their cards are. Yeah. And then I offer a full refund if it's not coming true within the year.
That's and any time we've spoken, it's crazy. It's always bang on.
We phoned each other. You phoned me at 11:11 on the 11th today.
I know. I know. And the number 22 is just still. It's every day. Every day. But of course it's every day. It's a reminder. I'm supposed to.
So what about that show I was telling you about, the last theatre show that was very quiet? In fact, it was Ghost Story 2222.
2222.
Yep.
Yes.
So yeah.
Well, here's what I want to ask you. That your last song choice or album.
Yes.
Because I'm actually, you know, you actually did whittle it down to a song, but because of how good the album is, you get the whole album, right? You're allowed. So the last choice is the Rocky IV soundtrack. An album I listened to it today as well on vinyl. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love it. And it's like whatever the moods, but it's your choice. So what is it about it for you?
Everything, Graham. How long have we got? Because we've been on for an hour.
It's all right. I'm good if you are.
Right. Okay. I just love it. Right. I remember going to the cinema with my uncle to see Rocky IV, right? Yeah. And actually folk could smoke in the cinema then, right? It was so funny. Anyway, I've never felt so motivated and inspired in all my life with any film. Everybody stand up at the end. Everybody was clapping. Everybody was hugging. Everybody was cheering. It was just amazing, right? Now, prior to that, you know how I told you about my mum being a single parent?
Can I? Yes, you did. You did.
Right, sorry. When my mum was a single parent, my papa... I was my papa's girl, right? My papa used to have me watch the boxing all the time, right? But he also used to get me to score the boxing all the time. And then we would discuss the results. So this went on for maybe I was like 4, right? And I just, you know, if you've got like, so for example, you go to the cinema, you've only got like a video recorder to record things. Your mind's just open, like, oh my God, right? So, like, it was just the best, most motivational film I've ever seen in my life. Now, if I was born in 1977, when did Rocky IV come out?
Rocky IV would be 87, I want to say.
85.
Oh, no way.
Right. I'm only 8 years of age.
85, yeah, of course.
Right. So I'm only 8 years of age at this point, right? And I just felt motivated, inspired. I felt
14.
like I just felt on top of the world. But anyway.
Did you feel loved at that age?
Yes.
There you go.
But hold on, there's 8 types of love. I felt loved from my papa. I felt loved from my uncles. I felt loved from my family. But see, my family, Graham, they're all dead now.
Ah.
My family are all in spirit. I've got one uncle left. I think he likes me, but I don't feel very. I don't want to say anything bad here, right? But I do have a brother and a niece and a nephew. They actually all don't really like me.
Oh, that's a shame.
I've not done really anything wrong, but I just think to myself, like, my mum's funeral song, I know I'm digressing, but my mum's funeral song was actually That's What Friends Are For, and she said, don't rely on your family, actually. So, but anyway, back to Rocky, right? I've never felt as happy. I know you're saying, right, hold on. Right, okay, back to Rocky. I've never felt as happy. I've never felt as motivated. I've never felt as amazing in all my life. But Graham, as decisions in life would take me to a place where I ended up at 25 stone. Right.
When was that?
So I'm seriously fast forwarding for 8 to like 30.
Okay.
Right. So then I had to get back in, and how I could get myself back, and I'm going to switch this, right, is because I got into Muay Thai. I went to that. So when I know that I'm really diverting, right? But how I got my weight down from 25 stone was through Muay Thai, and actually it was through the discipline. It was through. I went to Thailand. I went to. I think it was like Tiger Boot Camp. But one of the best instructors I've ever had for my health and for my fitness was actually when I was working in Glasgow, and it was actually a guy called Gary, and he had a gym called Box Fit, and he didn't put up with any shit from me, right? Basically, it was discipline, it was work, and we were really working out, right?
I love it. Dundonald's Gemma Van Dam.
Aye. But the thing is though, if I had done it younger, I would have maybe competed. But what I can say is that I've always had an interest. So that was in Muay Thai. Okay. So we're motivated and inspired by Rocky. It's my very favourite film of all time. It's never changed, right? But what song was my favourite song? And I'm like, right, I don't know. And that's why I couldn't answer the last question, because I'm thinking, like, how can I pick a song, right? But then I was just thinking, what does boxing mean to me? Boxing means everything to me. So it's to do with respect, honour, discipline, faith, fitness, mental health, keeping yourself safe, fit and strong, as in self-defence. The list goes on. So actually, right, I know we've saved the best to last, but do you know what? I go to another boxing club now, but the discipline and the respect and the movement of the Muay Thai actually gave me the best workout. So when my mum passed away, I said to my niece, I know that you don't want to meditate, and I know that you don't want to do all this woo-woo stuff that I do, right? But I tell you what, if I was you, I would be a Muay Thai fighter, right? And she is. She doesn't talk to me, but she's got the Queen of Swords tattooed in her arm, right? So I think to myself, right, okay, that's fine. So she took all my advice, and she took all my guidance, and she took all this, that, next thing. She's got the Queen of Swords about basically keeping in control of her mind and being the queen of that. So I know I've really influenced her. So it's just a tool that I've used in my life. And when I'm feeling shitty, like I usually do, the cold water gets me better now. The breath work gets me better now. I'm not really doing the Muay Thai because I thought I had a broken hip, right? So just in terms of age, I think it's more in the direction of swimming and yoga, Graham, that I should be going, right?
Nice.
But I have basically had an interest in boxing, all disciplines, and it's just the feeling It's the feeling, Graham. I feel so buzzing for Rocky 4. In fact, I might just watch it again.
I'm going to have to watch it over Christmas. Absolutely.
See, the thing is, see if you just take that back to an 8-year-old's mind that's not influenced by anything, it's just absolutely phenomenal. And also, can I just tell you, I was so inspired. The Rocky story I didn't find out till I was in sales many years later. And do you know the Sylvester Stallone story?
Which one?
Well, basically,
how he got his break.
Well, he wrote all the books, but when he was taken to film producers, they didn't want it, and they wanted another actor to play Rocky, and he stuck to his guns, and he's like, "I'm Rocky, right? I'm the character Rocky, right?" So it's like it keeps me in character as well, because I'm like, do you know what? I'm not fitting in, and that's why I just say I'm a goddess. And I'm
so
just thinking,
is that what the Gemma story is called? It's when you jump up and down. You're not Rocky. What are you? Are you goddess?
Jesus.
Is that what
I
you
need
are?
a manager.
Is that the Gemma story called
What's
Goddess?
that? I don't think the Gemma story, the Rocky's just been, right, so that song has been a guilty pleasure to keep me on track. I would probably say that in terms of physically.
Yeah.
Nah, it's emotionally as well. So see, really, if you think about, let's go to tarot, right? Let's go to the element of air. It keeps my brain right. So whether that's working out or listening to the music or just even doing boxing judging, right? Yeah. So that's amazing for my brain. I actually said to my mentor recently, I says, do you know something? I says, I believe that anybody with like ADHD, autism should actually be put straight into actually doing something to do with boxing or something to do with that laser beam focus, because it's very relaxing for my head, right? So anyway, this here is amazing. The element of air is amazing for the boxing. The element of fire, creativity and inspiration, my brain gets a break, which means I can think about other things when I'm doing boxing judging or being a boxing judge or even taking part or watching boxing. It doesn't matter. Anything to do with boxing is relaxing. So it's amazing for fire. Earth is amazing because I actually see when I'm working out, or not when I'm judging, but see if I'm working out, I do want to eat better. And then emotionally, I'm actually feeling better because I've burnt off all that energy I've got. So and a lot of people are like, Gemma, there's a lot of handsome guys there. And I'm like, are you joking? I'm too busy trying to keep myself in order, never mind notice what's going on, like with any guys, right? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm oblivious. So anyway, Rocky 4, everybody should watch it. It's just amazing.
And listen to the soundtrack and get training montage on when you want to work out and pump it up loud.
You know what song I was thinking about today as well? After Coming to America, the next song after that, I just like the full album.
Yeah, the album's great. The whole album's great.
You've actually got the album. Why don't you show everybody your album?
I don't have it up here. It's downstairs.
Graham's actually got the vinyl album, like immaculate, and the old-fashioned
flash it up on the screen. So listen, I've got we've got one more thing that we want to talk about, but before
we forgot to talk about the main thing.
I know. Before we talk about that, just listening to your story, I have a question in relation to, and it could be your mum. You've mentioned your mum a lot.
Oh, I am lost without my mum.
And you mentioned your mentor as well.
Lost without my mentor.
So what is the one, or the, whether it was one from, each of them, what are the big takeaways from the time that you had with them? What were the biggest lessons that they taught you?
My mum's like that. You're a square peg. Why are you trying to fit in a round hole?
I love it. We've got to just be ourselves.
I remember.
Giving a fuck what other people think.
My mum, do you know something? My mum actually done her very, very best. But I lost my best friend as well, so that's why I hate to say this, right? But do you know what, Graham? you know, you can see all the different characters and personalities that I've got, and you love them all, right? But actually, do you know something? See, despite how I show up with confidence, you know, I feel so lonely, right? And I don't want to be pity party, Gemma, but everything's just fabulous and wonderful, right? Let's just put your lipstick on and crack on, make sure you get a blow dry, you know, like, let's go, right? But actually, the Wim Hof method is my living, breathing practice of just amen. That's it. My mentor, she says that I was basically, it's so funny, you'll see me using this quite a lot. She just says I was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And actually, she said, Gemma, they should actually create a new word in the dictionary for you.
Well, if ever there was a testament to being yourself, it's that, right? And you are, this is infinite intention.
Yeah.
Now, talk to me. Tell me what's happening. Tell the people what is infinite intention? How does it come about?
Oh, this has got a little curveball though as well. Basically, infinity, eight's got no beginning, eight's got no end, eight's infinity. We don't die anyway. My mum has been back to give me specific messages from Spirit, and one of the clearest messages she actually did give me was don't comfort people, you know, if they've lost somebody. So Spirit should rest in peace, yeah? But what she did ensure me was that this is not the end. And I already know that. Now, I don't know what social experiment that I'm on here, Graham, but I feel very blessed to be connected with you. And what we're doing is I'm going to take Hogmanay, which is an absolute shit time for me because my mum died on New Year's Day, but she didn't die. Anyway, she's in spirit. So what happens is I'm going to take Hogmanay, which is a very lonely time for me, and I'm just going to create with you and maybe some other Wim Hof instructors.
Who knows?
Who knows? But I have got lots of surprises in store, and I've decided to flick the switch. And the reason is I would normally go a very expensive holiday. Now, even when my mum was alive, I used to go to India or I used to go to the Costa Rica. I would go very expensive and extravagant holidays, and I would go at Christmas and New Year quite often myself, right? Yeah. This year, I've decided, you know what? I'm going to really create something really magical, really special, and really different. Now, I do have a business coach, and she says, Gemma, your idea is so radical. I had to Google radical. But when I was talking to you earlier, you're going to have dinner with your family, right? Yeah. Then you're going to be with me for a 4-hour workshop, if you like, and then you're going to go back with your family, right?
Yeah.
So it's not taking anybody out of... Basically, this event is out of the norm, right? And the infinite intention is my intention maybe to find a partner, my intention to maybe find a job, my intention to maybe get to my target weight, my intention to maybe go back to Muay Thai. But you know what? I always come from a great place of it's just a good intention, right? And I just think to myself, whatever's happened in the past and whatever's happened in the future, see if you can actually set some intention. Now, the last time, I prepared this earlier, Blue Peter. The last time I created a vision board was actually 2019. And, you know, it's quite funny how you're talking about tarot so much, yeah?
It's right in the middle.
Exactly.
Age.
But what's really right in the middle of this is the Ace of Cups. And it's my intention to feel like that one day.
Ah, okay. What are those feelings? What does the Ace of Cups feel like?
That's another hour's podcast. Back to the infinite intention, right? Because that's very personal. Yeah. So if I'm a tarot master of the universe, right? Yeah. I've studied tarot from, I would say, let's call it 12. So that's a lot of years. Oh my God, that's like 36 years, is it? 40. Oh my goodness. Right. So I've studied tarot for 36 years. I've read every book backwards and forwards and upside down. I've got every deck, right? If I can choose one card and put it right in the middle of my board, this is about a feeling. And isn't it strange how Wim Hof says feeling is understanding?
Tell us more a little bit about that.
Well, we don't know how this is. We have to understand, we have to feel it. And to feel it, we can't talk about it. It has to be real, right? Out of the 78 cards in the deck, this is how I want to feel. And I've only ever met 2 people in my whole 48 years that could possibly come close to this energy.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. Right. Back to the infinite intention. So after the infinite intention, I would like to leave with a new board for 2026. I'm still going to start it off with my tarot card in the middle.
Yeah. So tell us in terms of the event, right? Tell us it's Hogmanay. Tell us where it is. Tell us who should come and what they can expect.
Excellent. I know I get carried away with my vision board, but anyway, I'm very proud of it. So this is the end result. So basically it's in Troon and it's in the Church of Scotland halls, and there's going to be one big hall and then there's 3 other halls, right? Now, between 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, I'm going to do some artwork, and then we go and we release that out into the elements, all right? And then we go between 7 and 8 o'clock into the most amazing breathwork session.
Julian!
Yes, fully in. So
Let it go.
Sorry, Graham and I, and perhaps some surprise instructors, will be leading the breathwork session, and that'll be between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, followed by some ecstatic dancing, and then there's going to be cold water therapy and the horse dance. Now, if you don't want to do that, there's going to be 3 other halls, and there's going to be artwork, there's going to be food. You can have a Chinese, Indian, pizza, whatever. When you arrive, it's not going to be a buffet. Somebody will take your order. And I would say, like, for example, I'll have a special curry, right? And then basically at the end of the night, there's some food and we can sit down and have a connection. All in all, who's it for? It's for anybody that wants to not drink, that wants to positively influence themselves and connect with others. It's about people that want to get into the power. Now, for example, I've had a few people saying to me, I just want to do the cold water therapy.
All right.
Okay. There's some people said to me, I don't want to do the ecstatic dancing.
Right.
Fair enough. And there's been people saying, I would really like to do the breath work, but I don't want to do anything else. So it is for everybody. So if you're on your own, you want to connect with some Wim Hof instructors, we are, I'm going to say this, Graham, but we're like the best in the world. We are, aren't we? What is it Wim Hof does?
I'm kind of quite modest, you know, though, because I quite like some of our European and other cousins in terms of, you know, do you know what I love about having a breathwork session led by another instructor, whether they're Scottish, English, Welsh, Irish, you know, or from wherever else in the world, is it's always different. It's always unique. That's what I love about it. It's always different.
The breathwork
and what you said earlier in terms of that advice, Gemma, you're a square peg. Don't put yourself in a round hole. Or was it the other way around?
I just want to say on that I've not mentioned, Graham. This might sound actual crazy, right? But I've not mentioned this for 1 hour, 23 minutes. But see, when I actually do the Wim Hof breathwork, it's the only time that I meet God, Jesus, the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, and get the answers, right? Now, the cold water gets me back to centre and the brain's not going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But it's the breath work that gives me the answers.
Yeah,
How could I have forgot that in all that time?
Yeah. And why is that?
Why is that? Right. So I'll not forget when I thought, am I alive or dead? Because I was away to another place and I could see the bright lights and I could see the stairs and I could see the bookcases. And I was like, oh my God, this is so peaceful. This is so relaxing. And that was when we were in, where were we at the reunion last year? We were in this big, massive hall, but also I got it at Wim Hof's house. I got
In
it.
Poland.
Aye, so I've had that. The only time that I can really get that to that depth and that level is when I'm surrounded with my tribe and my fellow.
Well, that was in Wroclaw last year in Poland.
Yes.
In that huge hotel, there was about 200 instructors in that breathwork session.
Yeah. So see, collective breathwork. If I do my breathwork here, oh, that's fine, wonderful. Log on the app. I do get the benefit. I do get the therapy, but you can't get the. See, when you're breathing together, you just get a different energy. You just get a
it's a vibe.
Vibration. I can't believe that I've not spoke about this all this time. Right. Basically, in terms of spirituality, who's God? What's the answers? I tell you, see if you get yourself into round 4 or 5 of the Wim Hof breathwork, then you meet anybody and everybody you need to meet and you get any answer you're looking for. And it's not scary because you've got a trust in the room and you know who you're with and you know you're safe.
Yeah, I think that's important. And I think in terms of the event, I think that's important. That is for us and always will be the number one priority. Paramount is safety.
Exactly.
Safety of the participants. You know, you're there and under our care, under our trust. But with that said, and this is the thing, as experts, as people who know what the power of this breath work is, if you're willing to surrender and push yourself just that little bit beyond what you're normally, willing to to go, just go that bit more and let a little bit go. Just be willing to go in with an open mind and push, and wonderful things can and will happen. And I think the only time that things don't shift, move, change, or in some way affect the body physiologically is if people don't put the effort in.
I think we need another full podcast on this, Graham, because you know what? See seriously, I have never heard about your experience. For me, it was so interesting because I've spoke so much about my papa, and actually I had my papa basically at the top of the stairs, and then I had all the bookcases to the right hand side, and I get such a fright because I thought my papa doesn't believe in this shit, right? And I thought, and I came my way back round, and then the next time I got so many answers, and then I could see so clearly. So it was like almost as if like there was windscreen wipers and I could actually see. And when I'm doing this is 100% true. Yes, the Wim Hof is my practice and I should be doing it more. But when you're genuinely getting into that 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds with Wim or with your team of colleagues that you feel safe with and you let yourself go, that's every single answer I've ever been looking for is in that space.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it and we've experienced it. It can dislodge, physiological blockages, emotional, spiritual blockages. It can result in, people can get a little bit emotional. We've seen a lot, and I think but it's good to mention the safety side of that, because that's what we're there for. That if any of that happens, we're there. We know exactly how to just ensure that people are safe, comfortable.
What's been your experience, Sam? Because I've never in my life shut my mouth and listened to actually what was your experience of the Wim Hof method. So
that's another podcast entirely as well.
I know we need to get off. We need to get.
Listen. Before we get to an hour and a half, we'll wrap it up. Yes. We'll wrap it up quickly. But there is one other thing.
Yes.
Because we didn't talk about Tom Wilson, Technocat. You raver.
Right, that would be definitely 1999-ish, right? I used to go to the Metro. I was a raver.
It's all quotes.
I did. Right. So basically, Techno Cat was my very, very favourite song. Do you know why? Because it had a start, it had a middle, it had an end, it had a build up. I actually felt in love at that time. I know I've not mentioned that and I've not said that much, but honestly, I felt as if I had the love of my life. I felt as if, like, oh my God, pinch me. Could my life get any better? Everybody was alive. Everybody was well. Raven was amazing. Love was in the air. Like, we were all dancing, and Techno Cat's my ultimate favourite song from basically the Raven days.
I love it. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Listen to Techno Cat tomorrow because it's still a cracker.
I listened to it tonight.
Did you?
Yeah, I listened to it tonight. I always listen to the songs before I come on.
What was your favourite of my 5 songs that I gave you?
Probably the I do like the Baz Luhrmann Sunscreen song. I've got that on CD single from when it came out. But my favorite, probably my favorite song may well be the same one that you chose. I mean, listen, living in the Rocky IV soundtrack would be my favorite. That would be my favorite of your choices.
All right, okay.
That would be my favorite of your choices. And I couldn't choose a favorite song on the album like you, because you've got Burning Heart, you've got Living in America, you've got the training montage, War, you've got Eye of the Tiger, for goodness sake.
I know.
I mean, it is an album. It is immense. So yeah, that would be my favorite. So one last question, just to wrap it up. I'll keep it on the boxing theme because you spoke a lot about how you got into the judging. No, it's a really simple one. I just want to know a little bit about the kind of things that you looked for, because you became a judge. Who is your favorite boxer of all time?
Oh my goodness, I've not got one. Rocky IV.
Not one.
Rocky IV's my favourite.
Rocky IV.
Sylvester Stallone. Actually, no. Rocky IV, actually, in terms of my favourite, I can't even say, because I have some favourites and then they end up disappointing me, or I find out something, or else they go and do something and I just think to myself, you know what? See, to be perfectly honest, it wouldn't be a famous boxer. It would probably be somebody from Muay Thai or somebody to do with the martial arts, because I love the discipline, I love the respect, I love the honour, and see the dance that they do before they come out as well to heat up their body. I love how they honour every corner. The Muay Thai rules have not been changed I can't find any change in rules for over 25 years. And when I went to all the boxing matches in Thailand, they actually didn't have any end. You know, there was like fight number 13, fight that, like, oh my God. And I'm like that, oh my God, these guys are so like there was lots of illegal gambling going on. So probably I would like to say, I would not like to mention any famous boxer at all, but the discipline that's my ultimate favourite to watch for every area, every angle is Muay Thai. And actually, there's a guy from Ayr, right? And I watched him fight in a championships, maybe. Can I just take a wee minute to look at this, right? Because this is when I noticed about breath work, right?
Yeah.
Because he won the fight because he was breathing. He won the fight because he was calm. Now, he's from Ayr, I'm sure. He's the best he is the best I've ever seen fighting in my whole life.
What's his name?
I'm not telling you now, because he's not like famous, but I was watching him He was a world, well, he's been a champion. But anyway, what I'm going to tell you is, right, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to promote him. I've not asked for permission and he doesn't know that I was even watching him. But I would probably say that in terms of Muay Thai, I could realise that a lot of the boxers were actually winning their fights because they were correctly breathing. And I learned that long before I ever studied breath work, right? I would say that this was maybe about 15 years ago. And then there was a guy coming out and just going into the leg, into the leg, into the leg, into the leg. And I'm thinking, oh my God, right, this is like really, really terrible. But he kept his cool. He fought every round. He had honour. He had respect. He had discipline. His strikes were start, middle and end, clean as anything. They were impactful. So I would say to conclude is definitely I love watching Muay Thai. Definitely the honour and the respect. The music's good as well. So see, because it's so repetitive, the music. I love the blessings. I love the honestly. That's my very favourite. And there's one guy that doesn't have a clue that I'm his greatest fan. And I seen him at a championships recently, and I had to say, "Excuse me, could you move away from here?" and he is a coach now, right?
Oh, okay.
So he is a coach, and I said, "Excuse me, I've had to ask the children if they could move and move, please. Could you possibly do the same, right?" And he just looked at me, and I'm thinking he's got no idea that I've watched every one of his fights. Like,
oh, there you go.
He's got no clue, and I think he does a good job. And now he's basically inspiring the young ones.
There you go.
So
well, listen, if you don't have a boxer,
hold on, who's yours? Who's yours, Graham?
My favourite boxer ever. It's easy for me.
What one?
It's easy for me. Nigel Benn. Nigel Benn and a very close second, Mike Tyson. They're kind of like they're almost on a par.
Why?
Why? Just there was their style. I kind of grew up, and they were, they were on. That's who was on the scene at the. I mean, the boxers that were around when I was growing up was just insane, and it's like you expected them boxers like that to be around forever. I watched. I got it. We've just seen the Ben Eubank Juniors, conclude their second bout. I lived through and watched their dads do it, and in a way that, for anybody to watch that and not love the sport of boxing, and the people that were around at that time. Nigel Benn, I met him in the Lonsdale shop in London as well, when I was in the RAF.
That reminds me, I took my mum to meet Sugar Ray Leonard, and he was tearing a shine to her. He was like that to my mum. Hello.
How you doing?
Oh, he smelled amazing. What do you think about Josh Taylor?
I loved Josh Taylor as a boxer. Yeah, I really liked watching him.
Well,
I think he has retired, hasn't he?
Yeah. So yeah. I seen Josh. I don't know whether it was in the Commonwealth or whatever. Oh my goodness, years and years and years and years ago.
Yeah, great boxer.
I do like to keep an eye on him, and it's really funny because my friend was going to Ibiza, and then nobody recognised him at all. Right. And then the next thing she was like, "Oh my God, you're Josh Taylor." And he was like, "How do you know?" This was before he was like really famous and popular, right?
He wasn't he wasn't well marketed, Josh
He
Taylor.
wasn't. He wasn't. But see, right, so we seen him in the Commonwealth Games or something. I don't know. I need to ask my friend. This is my friend I go to the theatre with, right?
Right.
We had seen him in the Commonwealth or whatever, right? And then what happened was she was on a flight going to Ibiza, and he was there, and nobody knew him. And she's like, "Oh my God, my friend Gemma thinks you're amazing." Next thing, he's like, "Happy birthday, Gemma," and he's all making all these happy birthday videos for me, right? And then it's so funny because there's this wee guy as well within my other friend's family. His name is called Nathan Lewis. So he's very, 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 very lightweight, right? And he's like a champion as well. But in terms of all the disciplines, I feel proud. I'm going to just say this before we finish up. I feel proud to work for and to represent the World Kickboxing Association, because it means that I'm getting to judge all disciplines.
Yeah.
And I particularly like judging K1.
Nice.
Yeah, I like K1, and yeah, I like being able to judge them all. But you know, something, they're kind of looking at me thinking like, "Who's this chick that's judging? What does she know?" And I'm thinking, actually, I know all the rules.
Well, like you, since I've met Karen, I've said to her when we used to watch the boxing, I was the same as your papa was with you. I said to Karen, I was like, judge it. Who do you think won? And she was like, I tell you what, Karen's a better judge than half my pals are. I'll not say anything about.
We've got to be very, very
by
careful.
pals, I mean friends, not Boxing Scotland, Eastern.
Oh, we've got to be careful. We've got to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing is, sometimes we can have like, so sometimes
I asked Karen to come along. I asked Karen to join the Eastern District because she was like, no, it's your thing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Do you know what? I tell you what, see, instead of drinking, Graham, that's another thing. I want to go out and watch the boxing, enjoy the sport, enjoy the entertainment of it, enjoy the vibe. I love the music. I love the entrance. I love watching them. I love the adrenaline, right? And then it's actually kind of better than a night out for me.
Yeah, it's a great night out. It's a great night out. We've got the Leith Victoria Christmas show on Sunday that I will be attending. Anyway, listen.
Right, I know. Whatever. We've been on longer than a movie.
I know. It's been brilliant. I've had a great laugh. Thank you so much.
Me too. Actually, can I just tell you something, right? Honestly, there's 8 types of love. And I just want to say that I honestly, truly love you. And I feel so connected to you. I feel connected in mind, body, spirit, soul, values, everything. I feel so blessed, right? I feel so blessed, right? And that's why I know that I need to remain a Wim Hof instructor, because we are connected and we have somewhat all the Wim Hof instructors in the world, right?
We have work to do.
Have somewhat the same story, but different. But you know what? We're on a mission, and I'm on a mission, and you're on a mission. And we just want to feel amazing and share our transformative method with people.
What's your mission?
My mission? Oh, well, I've got a few. But my mission with the Wim Hof method was just really to say to people, you know what? See if you feel like shit, there's a way. Here's the light. And Wim Hof song, see the light, feel the light, see the light. I just want to say, you know what? I've tried absolutely everything, right? But this is the method. This is the way. This is the light. This is the God. This is the faith. This is whatever you want to bloody call it. This shit works.
Amen.
Amen.
Gemma Collins, JFDI show. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. And thank you to those that tuned in tonight. We've had a fair few people kind of tune in and say hello. I'll let you read the comments afterwards, Gemma, but Gemma, stay there in the green room. I'm going to close down the stream. Thank you so much. Maybe in 2026, we'll be back for another show.
I just want to say, before you go, Graham, please, if anybody wants to ask me anything, right, please ask me, because I've been waiting in that question. Please ask me anything.
There you go. You heard it.
Because I'm ready for that question.
Ask. You don't get if you don't ask. All right.
You do not. Thank you.